Where's she gone? Should be coming in.
Yeah.
Is she here? Right, okay.
There is.
I can't see her. Why can't I see her?
I can see
Oh, it says
Angelina.
it's fine.
I can see Angelina, yeah.
Oh, good. Hey, Angie. And, oh yeah, I can see her now. I don't know why she's not coming up. Anyway, never mind. So we should be live on Facebook, hopefully. So if you are on Facebook and you can see us, could you give us a wave to show us that you can see us? Hopefully you can. Nothing yet, but it's live in the group, so we are. That's good.
It says on the page the live video should start soon.
Ah, it's coming up with mine. I am, and it's got no, and I can just see you now, Anita.
All right.
So it's saying we're on.
Okay.
On my Zoom screen, it's got live Facebook.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So welcome everybody, and welcome to our workshop. And I'm hoping we might have a few more people coming on. Obviously, people are welcome to come on and just watch the recording, or watch in the background. It'd be great if you can interact, though. So, shall we? Are we ready to start, ladies? Because we don't really want to keep anybody waiting, I think. So I will pass you over to the lovely Anita, and I'm going to start recording, if that's okay, ladies.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hilary. Welcome everybody to this evening's workshop around Show Me the Money. Hilary, Rosa and I are going to take you through an overview of a 6-step program that we've brought together around manifestation. And I'm sure that you have attended other workshops with the same aim of attracting abundance. I certainly know that I have. Yeah, we all have. Hilary has, and Rosa has, and they're muted. So, yeah. I'm so used to saying this all the time. You're on mute.
Yeah, my husband came in, and I thought, oh, they don't want to know what they've got. So yeah, I have great ones, and yeah, I learned so much from them. So yeah, sorry, I need to go on.
No, that's fine. And Hilary, you have as well, haven't you? Because I think it's some of them are authentic, and some of them, sorry, that's my son just coming in from karate and deciding to dump all his stuff in my office and not to close the door, because obviously he was born in a barn. But I think some of the courses that I've been on certainly have been fairly formulaic, and so you get to the point in the course where you think, oh yeah, I knew that already because I've heard that about 50 different times. This talk that we're going to go through this evening, though, doesn't follow that usual script. This is genuinely a process that has at its roots not only a great deal of training that we've been through, research that we've done, and learning by us, but is also the culmination of a connection to source, realistically. It's a culmination of our belief and our trust in it and the understanding that we have reached from it. It's also based on our experiences of manifestation and the learnings we've taken from that, whether the outcome was positive or negative. Because, of course, there is no such thing as failure, only a step forward in our learning. And so we have created a 6-week program that will guide you through the process, and we'll do an overview of that this evening. Step one kind of comes across at first as an obvious one, but it's one that is quite often missed because it is so obvious. But it is simply this: to articulate what it is you truly want. With no judgment of yourself, think about and specify what it is you truly want. And it sounds so simple, but getting down to the specifics and asking yourself that question, what is it I really desire? What is it I really want? Isn't always as easy as the question seems, because you have to be specific, really specific, and you have to stick to it. Because if you're flip-flopping all over the place with what you want, and I've been terrible at this in the past. One week I've thought, yep, that's it, that's what I want. I definitely know the house I live in. Before we moved here, yep, definitely. Oh, I like that one over there. I can have a, oh, there's a shiny thing over there, and I do like the look of that. But if you are flip-flopping all over the place with what you want, and you are shifting your specifics with what you want, the universe doesn't actually know what you want, and so it doesn't deliver you anything, because you're constantly giving mixed messages. And often when we flit from one specific to another, if it's 1 week I want this, and 1 week I want that, and then another week I want something else, actually what is happening there is that your subconscious isn't in the game. You're not actually linking into what your subconscious is looking for. So if you approach that specificity, I'm never sure if that's actually a word, but I like it, even though it's difficult to say. If you approach that specificity as you would ordering a meal in a restaurant. Because if you say, oh, I've done this as well. I want this. Oh, no, I've changed my mind. I want that. Oh, no, I want something else. The waiter's going to walk away in the end and just say, I'll come back when you've actually made your mind up. Because there's only so many different ways that they can take an order. So if you're really fussy, like me, and you want your sauce on the side, and you want it like that, or something else, that is about being really specific. Be really, really, really clear what you want. Don't be scared of what you want. Don't worry about what you want. Be as specific as you choose to be. And then sit with it for a while. How does that desire feel? How do you feel with it? What are the emotions that are going through you? What are the thoughts that are going through your head? How are you feeling about it? Really sit with it for a while, not for 10 minutes, for a while, for a good few days. Keep coming back to it and thinking, okay, how am I feeling with that today? How am I sitting with that? Because if you are meeting resistance for your desire, then you've got to think about what that means. Is it what you truly, truly want? And really keep digging away at that. And Hilary and Rosa, is there anything you'd like to add around that at all?
I was going to just say that I know that previously when I've kind of wanted, often, and money is the big one for me, because I flip from how much I want to how much I want. 1 minute I want 5,000, then I want a 5 million, and or 500,000 or whatever it is, because I want all of those things. And I have to be honest that money is probably the one thing that I go, oh yeah, I want that, but I want that, but I want that, and I want that, and then I want that, and then I want that. And so actually, like you said, really, really specific on a particular desire, and like what we did a few weeks back, on one of our masterminds when we got really clear and we wrote down what it would cost to actually live our life that we wanted. That was really powerful, because you kind of got, oh, it would cost me that much. That's how much I actually need. And actually, yeah, and that was really helpful. And somehow I did feel massive release of like resistance when I kind of done it. That's what I need. And then it's like, focus on that amount. And that doesn't mean it's the only amount I'm ever going to get. It just means that that's for that, you know. So that was a really interesting exercise for me, I would say. What do you think, Rosa?
Yeah. And I really, again, I think money for most of us is the key, isn't it? When you're talking about things like this. And I used to hop. And since we've been putting this course together, I've really started to channel in on what I want and why I want that money. And that has become hugely important. And as soon as Dave and I start talking about planning anything, I automatically now go into this mode of, right, find out how much roughly it's going to cost you. It doesn't have to be down to the last penny, in English case penny, but I don't know what yours is, Anna. So it doesn't have to be, but roughly. And I start to really pick up what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to get there. Whereas before I just said, yeah, I want to do that, and put an amount to it. And it's really, since doing this and us putting all this together, it's really starting to build the understanding of, like you say, it's like going to a restaurant. I mean, when I go to a restaurant, the poor waiters, I always say to them, you're going to wish you had the day off, love, because I've got that many, I can't eat this and I can't eat that and I can't do that, you know. And my husband always says, this is the lady who can eat anything and go anywhere to eat. So I've started to realize how specific I am when I order a meal, and I'm starting to channel that into my everyday life now. So yeah, great.
It is that specific that is really important. But then it is sitting with it for a period of time that is important, because you need, step 2 is about being congruent with your desire. Essentially, checking in with yourself. Is what you're asking for coming from your egoic conscious mind? And I always go to my head when I say that. Or from your higher self subconscious mind. And I always point to my stomach when I talk about my subconscious. Doesn't matter why. Because if your desire is coming from your egoic mind and it is not congruent with your higher self, you aren't going to get anywhere. Because the one thing you have to remember is that your subconscious mind is always the one that's in the driving seat. And it will be the one that decides to either hit the accelerator towards your dreams, or it will slam on the brakes and keep you in neutral. And sometimes it will take you back in reverse. So if you are not in alignment, and if you meet that resistance when you're sitting with your desire, and you really meet that resistance of, do you really think you can do that? Is that really achievable? You start asking yourself all kinds of questions. You'll start doubting yourself. And you need to check in. There are many ways of checking in to find out whether or not you're in alignment. I mean, I had a great example where I was thinking with my egoic mind, and I decided on something, and I thought, yeah, right, that's it. And then I started flip-flopping, and then because I was going to this and to something else and then something else, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to meditate on this. I'm going to ask myself the question, what is it I actually want? And my conscious and subconscious mind ended up literally arguing with each other during my meditation, because my subconscious mind was saying, this is what we're doing. And my conscious mind was saying, as though near ambitious enough. Come on, you know, very brash and all the rest of it. And my subconscious mind is going, you can shout at me as much as you want. This is what it is. End of. And in the end, I sat there and I thought, yeah, that's what I'm comfortable with. And I became congruent because, and I've not deviated from that position I ended up in. I knew that's where I meant to be. And I've not deviated from it because I am congruent with it. I am in alignment in both my conscious and subconscious minds that this is the right thing for me to be doing. And it took me a long time to get there. You can get to that point through free writing. That's another good way to let your subconscious mind come out and start talking to you. Another one I do quite regularly, if I know that I need to say something or I need to come to a conclusion about something in my subconscious mind, but I'm driving. I do a lot of distance driving. I will just literally talk in the car on my own, and I will just start talking. And eventually I'm like, oh, my subconscious mind is the one talking. God knows what other drivers think about me. Couldn't really care less. But I will be talking and talking and talking. And then there you go. There's the solution. That's the answer I was looking for, because eventually your subconscious, it's like with free writing, your subconscious mind will come out. Your conscious mind will shut down and your subconscious mind will come out. So it's really that congruence. Can't stress enough the importance of that in any kind of manifestation. Hilary or Rosa, is there anything you want to say about that?
Do you want me to go first, Rosa? Yeah, well, I was just thinking about a recent story. So I was, most people know my love affair with Australia, and I was absolutely desperate to get there. And I decided, right, I'm going at Christmas. And something didn't feel quite right. I didn't know what it was, but something just, I don't know. So I thought, well, just leave it, just sit with it for a bit. And I kind of just left it and went on, it kind of went on the back burner. And I, once I'd done that, I kind of thought, okay, let's have a look at flights. I'll see what I can get. Well, the flights are just ridiculously expensive for Christmas. If I want to go in December, it's about £3,500. That's the cheapest. I'm not prepared to pay that money. Because then if I go at Easter, it's about 1,100. Like, that's a third. And that's still quite expensive. But so, and it was almost like as soon as I went, okay, I'm not meant to go at Christmas. Something's telling me I'm not meant to go. I released that and I feel just so much happier about it. It's just, yeah, okay, that's good. I can do that.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's, if something doesn't feel right, go with it. I often make the analogy, particularly at work, if something isn't going right for a member of the team. And I always say, if you feel like you're pushing treacle uphill whilst herding cats,
yeah,
drop it. Because it's just not there's such resistance there, it's not happening. And the more you push at it, the more of a problem you're making with it. So just stop it, drop it. And I was coaching someone the other day and he was saying, I've applied for all these jobs and I should be able to get them, no problem, but I'm not. And in the end, I said to him, are you looking in the right place? Is this not something telling you that actually you need to make a shift in your career? Yeah. Because you can't keep banging your head against something that's not happening, because something is not fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? That is sometimes we go down the road of we want to do something and we commit to something. And I did this, I committed to something and it was in the workplace And as soon as I said I wanted to do it, you know, mouth went into overdrive before the mind had even time to say anything. As soon as I said it, the boss said, I think that's brilliant, Rosa, I think you'd be great. But there was a fear within me. And I tried to get into this form of work for about 4 years. And I kept coming against obstacles. And I could never understand. Now I understand what the obstacle was. And the obstacle was me, because I had that fear of the job. And as soon as, and they had a cutoff point of an age, you're not supposed to have a cutoff point at age in England, but they do. And especially in the NHS and that, there's a cutoff point. And I knew I was coming close to the cutoff point. So the last time I applied for the job, and I didn't get it, the relief, because my argument was then, well, take me on now because I'm too old. But it's only since been doing this do I understand that it was the fear of the job, part of the job within me, that stopped me from getting the job. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's that commitment when you open your mouth. It's the ego, isn't it? Saying, well, you said that now, you've got to do it.
The ego is saying, I can do that, I want to do that. But the subconscious mind saying, that's not the right direction to be going in, and you're not going to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Simple as, you're not going to go in that direction. And so when you've gone through that process, then maybe you will need to rewrite your desire and reflect on your desire and shift it and change it into something that you feel you are congruent with. And then on step 3, I've often, whenever I've done, as I said, you know, I've done abundance courses like this before and workshops, and you're told to set manifestation goals and intentions. And I've done that in abundance, actually. But I've always struggled with the bit that they add in that acting as if you have it, that dimension of acting as if you have it. Because in my mind, there is that question of how can I act as if I have something when goals and intentions, by their definition, are future focused. So I know I don't have them yet, because I've set a goal, I've set an intention. And the intention one really gets me, because I intend not to eat chocolate. I do on a regular basis. So, you know, setting the intentions, I think that's so woolly to say I'm setting an intention, because setting a goal or an intention, Abraham Hicks talks about escrow. Your order to the universe, your desire to the universe is in escrow, because actually when you ask for something and you put your vibration behind it and you put your energy behind it, it's given. Then there is a time difference between that and it being in your physical reality. So setting a goal or an intention is not putting a desire into Abraham Hicks's escrow. It's saying my desire is somewhere in the ether, in the future, but it's not grounded in anything, because the future isn't here yet. And as a consequence of it not being here, it's not actually real, because the only thing that is real, that you can have any sense of, is now, in this exact moment, because the past is gone. You can't change it, you can't go back to it, you can't alter it, you can't shift it. The future hasn't happened yet. You can't live in either the past or the future, because they're not there. The only thing that's there is now. this moment is the only time when you can sit there and say, I am a millionaire, if that's, that sort of thing. So your desire that you are congruent with actually becomes your statement of truth. In this moment, here and now, your statement of truth is your desire, because there's nothing behind you. What's behind you is done. You can't go back to it. So there's no point looking back. And what's in the future, it's not here yet. The only thing is now. And your higher self, when you've gone through the congruence process, has told you what is right for you now. So own it. Step into that, have that statement of truth, because that is how you put your desire in what Abraham Hicks calls escrow, in that version of escrow, because you're saying, this is it. In this moment, this is what I am. This is what I have. And that I am statement is far more powerful than saying, I've set a goal that in 3 months' time, I am going to have X. Because then you're allowing doubt to creep in, because you've set that deadline of 3 months. What if it doesn't happen in 3 months? What if it happens in 4 months? And the amount of times I've done it, I've seen other people do it, when they sit there and go, oh, I've put this date on it because so-and-so told me I should write a date for my goal. And it's not happened. And you're letting in that doubt, because actually everything you've done is always future focused, and future isn't, it's now that matters. It's accepting and believing that what you've asked for has been, if you like, ring-fenced. The great universal budget has ring-fenced an amount for you that you've asked for. And it will come in your materially, it's there. You just have to now you're congruent with it. You can have your statement of truth, and that's how you place it in escrow, not something that is, I will have in the future, because that just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
I know when Abraham Hicks have talked of doubt, they say people ask them, how do you get rid of doubt before it starts?
How can you doubt if you've been told by yourself what it is yourself, the essence of you actually wants? How can you doubt?
Yeah, it's that sense of knowing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the step 4 is stepping into the reality of that statement of truth. I often, there's an author, David Cameron Gikandi, who talks about quantum physics, which I don't get quite often, but there are elements of it that I do understand. And it talks about the fact that the only things that actually exist are those things that you give attention to. So outside of that, and under the laws of quantum physics, outside of that, nothing actually exists other than that which you give your attention. And so if you give your attention to something on the other side of the world, it exists on the other side of the world. And there are, as a result of that, there are numerous versions of you living your life. And there is the version of you living the life that you want, that thing that you desire. So this is about stepping into the shoes of that person that you want to be, because that person exists. that reality exists now, here and now. That reality exists. And that is where, in acting as if, in stepping into the shoes, I mean, I have an image of the Anita that does all of that. And that's where you get your inspired actions. When you get those voices saying to you, this is dropping in the odd word, dropping in the odd phrase, the times when you, for no apparent reason whatsoever, you get the weirdest song playing in your head. And when you pull on that thread, actually there's a huge amount of meaning and there's a message in there. And it's those inspired actions. And if you ignore them, those voices will either get louder or will keep you in neutral until you listen fully and carefully and take the action that you are being pushed to take. I have been I was wanting to start coaching. I started 13 years ago. And I look back at journals written 13 years ago, and it's talking about wanting to do what I'm doing now. And I would, go back to it, move away, go back to it, move away, go back to it, move away. But those suggestions and those nuggets never stopped coming. So really immerse yourself in the version of you that you want to be. Really feel that you, what their thoughts are, what their emotions are, what their feelings are, because that's how you will get the inspired actions. That's how you will get those voices. There's ideas in your head. I'm going to talk about having voices in your head. It's a bit worrying, isn't it? But it's those ideas that pop into your head, those random words that come into your head. As I say, that random bit of music, unless you're like me when my son was younger and it was Peppa Pig running round and round and round in my head. That wasn't anybody trying to tell me anything other than stop putting him in front of it when you're getting ready in the morning. But think about that life that you is leading, and step into it until it becomes your life. And understanding that. I don't know, Hilary, Rosa, do you?
Yeah, I while you were saying all that, while you were talking about that, Anita, I was thinking about the days when I used to be a massive gym fanatic. And I used to box with my son, Martin. We used to do a boxercise class. And you get out what you put in the gym. You can go to the gym and you can listen to a guy and he can tell you what to do and he can give you a chart and off you go. But you can then get yourself a guy who actually wants you to achieve the body you want to achieve. And it's the amount of effort that you put in with that person that enables you to have the body that you want.
Yeah.
And it was funny with Martin and I, of course, I used to box with him. So I'm only 4 foot, at the time I was 4'11" and a half because I was a lot younger. And Martin was like 5'8". And we used to box together, so much so because I was in that place to better my physique. That's all I wanted. So some of the girls used to come with their hair done, the makeup on, and look absolutely beautiful, and hardly did anything. And one particular week, Martin didn't turn up. And I went on my own. And of course, when you go on your own, the instructor partners you. And there was three lads in their early 20s. And they said to Andy, the instructor, afterwards, "Thank God you didn't put us with Martin's mum, because my determination was so strong to get the body I wanted. I would hit Martin and Martin would hit me, and I would stand there and take sometimes I actually left the floor. But what I'm trying to say is it was that desire to have and to go that extra mile to get what I wanted. and this is exactly the same, isn't it? It is about doing things out your comfort zone, pushing yourself that bit further. And you only realize what you're achieving when you look back. Or for me, in the gym days, I only realized what I achieved when I put that dress on, and there was no wrinkles. It was like woof. And I'd achieved it. I don't bother so much now because I think I'm 68, think, nah, forget it. But then it was important. And this is the same. I think now I am more working out my mind and my feelings than I am my physical body. And that's where I feel I am growing so much like I did. And I can always relate it to them gym days.
I think it's when people think about manifesting money, it seems so passive. Like, here you go, the universe is just going to sprinkle notes on top of you. That's not how it works. There is effort. Some of the effort is changing you, changing yourself, changing your mindset. And some of the effort is actual activity that you have to undertake in order to get where you want to go.
It might even, I was just thinking it might be, you know, like for me, recently I've been really focusing on how that feels when I've got what I want. When I've, you know, that first class flight to Australia that is, you know, what is it going to be like when I'm going to sleep at night? I'm like just imagining I'm there and I can hear the sound of the engine in my head, and it's like I can actually lie down, which is amazing. And you know, and it's like it is immersing yourself into that feeling. And it could just be, you know, because our subconscious minds, our source doesn't know whether we're imagining it or real.
No.
I think that's,
and it's happening somewhere.
It is. I mean, it's happening to you.
Me, but I'm not experiencing it in this one, but I am somewhere else. Yeah.
So just step into that person because it's there. And step 5 is around that really visualizing and feeling what you would feel in achieving your desire, but still grounding yourself in the now. Because if you aren't happy with your life, and you know, there are always elements that we have of our life that maybe aren't going quite as well as we would like, but fundamentally happiness is connection to source. And when we externalize our happiness by saying, if I get that job or that pay rise, then I'll be happy. If I get that relationship, then I'll be happy. If I achieve that weight loss goal, then I'll be happy. All of these things that we externalize, none of those things will make us happy. And particularly if we're saying, if we are placing the responsibility for our happiness on somebody else, it isn't their responsibility, it's ours. And so recognizing that actually happiness, and this is quite, when I realized this, it's quite empowering. Happiness is a choice. You can choose to be happy. And that is about saying, I'm going to find something in my day, in my life, whatever, that makes me happy. So peonies are, for me, my favourite, peonies and sunflowers, my favourite flowers. And I will, you know, okay, this time of year you don't see so many, so I will look at photos of them because they make me happy. Sunflowers just make me smile. They, to me, look like great big smiley faces. My son makes me happy. You know, my home makes me happy when the dogs aren't making a mess. You know, it's finding those things, those really simple things in now that you find happiness in. Because when you step into the you that has this particular desire you're looking for, you are going to be taking those things with you, because that's your choice. So in finding in now the things that make you happy, having that connection to source, because unhappiness equals lack, because you are always, when you're choosing to be unhappy, you're actually at some level choosing to see all the things you don't have. And that leads to disconnection. So focus on what you do have, even if, you know, in this economic environment, there are loads of things the media are telling us that we should be worried about, struggling with, crying into our candles because we've got no electricity about, you know, all of this sort of thing. Going back to, I don't know if you remember the Flintstones cartoon where he runs along in the car rather than it actually having an engine. None of that is real. If we don't, you know, we can't focus our minds on that, because that is the egoic mind responding to societal constructs. And our subconscious mind doesn't. And we can let ourselves run free with our subconscious mind and choose that happiness and be connected, because abundance is everywhere and it comes in so many different forms. And the one thing you can guarantee, in a recession, there is still money around. There is still money around, and lots of it. But there is no reason why you can't access it with the right mindset. So step 6 is, as Hilary has said it a couple of times that she's done, it's about release. If you hold on too tight to your desire, what you are saying to your subconscious and to the universe is, I want this, but I don't believe I'm going to get it. And why would you doubt what your higher self has told you is possible? Because as we know, if we look at it from a pure neuro-linguistic, if we look at it from that perspective, if we look at it from a psychological perspective, any which way we want to look at it, we know that when we make our decision on something, even if we don't look at source and manifesting in the universe, but we look at it from a scientific perspective, anything we focus on, we can achieve. If we believe that we have the ability to do it. And that is led by our subconscious mind. And so if your subconscious mind has told you what your desire is, and you're congruent with it, and you're getting all of the signs and signals and messages to say, this is the direction we're traveling in order to achieve this, why would you doubt it? So relax into it, step into it, because the minute you've got that statement of truth, the minute you've achieved congruence, your vibration has meant that that is in escrow. And stepping into it and taking those inspired actions means that it will be in your physical world quicker than you would expect. The certain truth is that it will be yours. So,
and I think, can I just say with that, Anissa, that I think that happens quite often in life when we don't realise it. And it's only when we make ourselves aware of how often we do it, do we appreciate how good we are at doing it, and how your level of manifesting starts to increase. I did it the other day. We've just been to Great Yarmouth for a week, and this is going to sound pathetic, but we have this gorgeous room out overlooking you could see the sea and then the garden that was in front of, it was more like a park in front of this hotel. And in the dining room, the view was the same, but I wasn't sat in the window in the dining room. And when we walked in the dining room, my first reaction was, I don't want to sit in the middle of the room. I want to sit in the window. So that night when I went to bed, I thought, I'm going to get Dave up early and I'm going to switch the room numbers round on the tables, right? So that I get the table by the window. Well, I wasn't up early enough to switch the numbers round. So the people who should have been there were there and my table was still yours. But the next day, when we walked in, she said, I've moved your table, it's by the window. Those people have left.
Wow.
So I got my window, and that's exactly what I did, Hilary. I didn't say anything to Dave.
No.
I just said to myself, wow, Rosa, look at that. You've thought it, you've wanted it, but you've forgotten about it, you've let it go. And there it is. And I know it's only a tiny little thing, but it's magical, isn't it?
It's a great example. I mean, when we viewed this house that we live in now, I decided as soon as we walked in the front door, that was it. I didn't know how we were going to afford it because it was more expensive than we wanted to go for. So I didn't know how we were going to afford it. But I just thought, no, we're doing it. And that's it. And my husband had already been sold on it from the pictures. It was he found it. And I said, right, so that's that. It's happening. And we're moving on this date. And he said, don't be ridiculous. There's so many variants. He's one of those people that would rather err on the side of pessimism so that he doesn't get disappointed. And I said, no, we are moving on that date. Come hell or high water, that is the date we are moving on. And I just set everything up without question. So that was the date we moved in on. And that was the exact date we moved in on. And he kept saying to me, it can't happen that way. It can't happen. I've decided, so it will. And that's it. There was no question in my mind. No question in my mind. That was going to be our moving in date. And it was. And we were going to afford the house. And we have.
Yeah.
And that's, you'd make those decisions. And sometimes release is not about forgetting about it. Release is just about, this is my decision. That is what I have decided is going to happen. Mm-hmm. And because you feel, it felt like, I kept saying to him, why would you question me? I know this is going to happen. And now when something crops up and I say, no, it's not going to happen. That's not how it's going to happen. And he says, oh, it will. Remember, I'm a witch. Because that's what he calls me. He says, you're an absolute witch. And then he'll come back to me and say, you were right. It didn't happen that way. I made a decision. And that is about release. It is being absolutely safe in the knowledge that it's not even a question. This is going to happen. It's not even a question. You don't have to know how. That is absolutely crucial. You do not have to know how. Just know that it will. And with that 6-step process, you will manifest whatever your heart desires. So does anybody have any questions?
Anything or comments or anything? Let's have some interaction.
Yeah. No, stunned.
Hello, no, I'm here.
Oh.
Hi, hello. That was amazing.
Thank
That was
you.
absolutely amazing, and it really makes me realise where I just dilly-dally around and I don't make a decision and I flip from one mindset to the other, and I really feel I've got some stronger, more powerful tools now to work on. So I'm looking forward to integrating that into what I've just been doing the last couple of weeks with you lovely ladies. So thank you for that. It's it's real food, you know, food for thought and like food for the soul, isn't it? So thank you.
That's good. No, it's really
Amazing.
good to hear. I mean, it was a quick canter through. There is, because we are going to be running from the 25th of October, we're going to be running this as a 6-week course.
Wow.
And there will be more information coming through.
Right.
Because there is a lot of, this was just to introduce you to the concept of it all. Because there is a lot more substance underneath it that can help you really get into that mindset proper.
Yeah. And I imagine sort of, you know, going along, I mean, I said to the girls last week, I can already, you know, see where I'm self-sabotaging. And so it's really, you know, this is really starting to teach me, you know, where I've got negative patterns occurring. And until you can really see them, you can't work on them, can you? You can't.
I think this is where what we do is just a little bit different. Because my question to anybody is, how many times have you looked at your negative patterns and your limiting beliefs and said your affirmations, and those limiting beliefs have actually gone away? It's the egoic mind running a pattern over and over and over again. Your higher self is perfect. It has no limiting beliefs. It has no, nothing can stop it when it's made that decision. And when you are congruent with that decision from your egoic mind into your subconscious, there are no limiting beliefs. There are no negative patterns. It's just brace yourself because it's all coming.
Yeah. Bring it on.
Exactly.
That's what I say, bring it on. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I really have taken a lot of gold from that. So thank you so
Brilliant.
much.
Oh, it's really good to hear. Really good to hear. Thank you. Does anybody else have any comments or questions at all?
You can always put them in the chat or on Facebook.
I've got the chat open, so I'm looking for anybody who wants to put anything in the chat if you don't want to talk, which is fine. And then I can put them out to the ladies.
The other, sorry.
Go on, you go.
The other thing is that obviously if there's anything that occurs to you question wise after this, then please do feel free to put any comments or questions in to us, because we will obviously be checking and be able to answer them.
Quick question.
Definitely.
Is there an opportunity to kind of watch it back again? Because I am one of those people that need to revisit and stuff, because I'm sadly I don't have the photographic memory, and sometimes I don't understand me notes.
I could not relate to you more on that one.
So glad
yes.
I'm not on my own with that one.
God, no. Yes, Hilary is the tech guru.
Yeah, I can, because you're not on Facebook, Angelina, so that's fine. But what I can do is I can send you the recording of this so that you can watch it back.
I'll be really grateful. Thanks, Hilary.
No problem at all.
But there will be, everybody does have the opportunity on Facebook, don't they, to re-watch it.
Yeah, that'll be up there, I'm guessing, but we can also, in case, I'm not sure, I haven't done a live and I'm not sure how long they stay on there, but I will leave. I have got I could actually put our recording in there as well, just so it's there and people can find it, and we'll put it in it. We'll make a guide and put it in there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, all good.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us, everybody.
Yes.
I've really enjoyed it. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's been amazing. Sorry, I switched the camera off because I'm quite ill. So
Oh
Oh,
no.
Hope you get better soon, Anna.
thank you,
Yeah.
Hillary.
yeah,
Thank
get
you.
better soon, darling.
Get well soon, sweetheart.
Thank you for
Better.
inviting me. It was very nice. Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon, lovely.
Yeah,
See ya.
Take care.
lots of
Bye.
love, darling.
Okay, so lots of love to everybody, and we will stop the recording. And hope you enjoyed, and as sing out if any questions, etc. And we'll go back, get back to you. Okay,
Yeah.
lots of love, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, lots of
Brilliant.
love.
Bye.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, how do I come out of Facebook Live? Need to do that. Stop live.